I work full-time as a doctor, run this YouTube channel, train consistently, practice piano, and still have a social life. And I don't wake up at 4 a.m. People often ask me how I make time for everything, expecting some secret productivity hack. But the truth is, I don't have more hours than you. I just use them differently. Most people feel like they don't have time because their schedule is reactive. They're constantly reacting to emails, tasks, or unexpected commitments, leaving no space for what really matters. That's exactly what I had to solve while balancing medicine, YouTube, and personal goals. And that was through creating a system that lets multiple priorities coexist without friction. And in this video, I'll share 6 parts of the funnel system so you can stop feeling like there's never enough time and start actually doing it all. So the first thing is, if you're trying to fit things in, you're already losing. Most people think they can just squeeze more tasks into an already full schedule, and that's why it feels impossible to make time for everything. The problem isn't that you don't have enough hours, it's that your week wasn't designed around what actually matters. Tasks get stacked on top of emails, meetings, studying, and suddenly nothing gets your full focus. So the shift is simple. I design my week before it starts, and I do it through a specific approach. At the end of each week, I spend about 15 minutes deciding my priorities first. Deep work, training, projects, and let everything else fill the gaps. That means my editing, gym, and piano sessions are locked in around my work schedule as a full-time doctor, before anything else gets scheduled. Only after that do I slot in meetings, emails, or smaller tasks. That way, my energy is reserved for the things that actually move things forward. One mistake people make is blocking time in the middle of everything. Deep work at 5 p.m. after back-to-back meetings or lectures rarely works. Your brain never gets the space to fully focus, and that time is wasted. So adding small buffers between blocks makes a huge difference. Even 10 to 15 minutes to reset lets you actually use the next session at full capacity. When you pre-decide priorities, your week stops feeling accidental. You're no longer reacting to every notification or task, and even urgent interruptions won't derail what truly matters. And that sets up the next point, because even if you block your priorities, most people still waste their best hours if they don't align timing with their energy. Because not all hours are created equal. Most people spend their sharpest, most focused time on emails, meetings, or low-value tasks, and then wonder why their to-do list never shrinks. The truth is, 1 hour of high-quality focus during your peak energy window is worth more than 3 scattered, tired hours later on in the day. What most people don't realize is that your focus naturally rises and falls throughout the day. There are specific windows where thinking, learning, and creating feel almost effortless. For me, as a full-time doctor, my deep thinking doesn't happen in the morning. It happens after dinner, once the day's stresses are behind me and my mind can fully concentrate. Tasks like admin, planning, or even gym go later, where my energy naturally dips. They don't require my sharpest focus, so that's when I slot them. So the takeaway is simple. Figure out your peak energy hours and protect them for your high leverage work, studying, writing, or personal projects. Everything else like emails, notifications, and scrolling fit around it. One way to find your peak hours is to try the same focused work at different times on different days and see when you get the most done. Even small shifts make a huge difference. Protect your best energy and those hours feel longer. You get more done, more efficiently, and without burning out. And before the next point, I'm working on building an AI coaching app to give you a genuinely personalized productivity system. One that knows your goals, tracks where your time actually goes, and gives you specific, direct, and honest feedback on what's working and what isn't. All designed as though it's a digital version of me personally coaching you. If this sounds useful, join my newsletter in the description box below to hear first when it's out. And as a thank you, subscribers will get an exclusive discount when it launches. There's also a quick survey in the description so I can make the app as useful as possible for you. Thank you, and now back to the video. And that sets up the next point. Even when your energy is protected, tasks still don't get done for one reason almost nobody talks about. And the reason is simple. Most tasks are too big to survive real life. You don't have a time problem. You have a scale problem. When everything is full intensity, resistance builds, and resistance creates delay. What I've learned over the years might look like oversimplifying, but it's what let me actually do everything I need to without fail. And that's making sure to reduce commitments to the minimum viable version that still moves things forward. Focus on progress, not perfection. Perfectionism is a trap for ambitious people because waiting for rare 100% moments kills consistency. Instead, do what you can consistently because that's what actually drives results. For example, a 15-minute lift instead of a full gym session, outlining a video instead of scripting the whole thing, or 1 page of revision to keep momentum. Small tasks fit into your day, get done, and build momentum very quickly, whereas maintaining a perfect schedule is only going to feel impossible and won't last more than a few days. Even on your worst days, these mini tasks survive, keeping progress alive without stress. And that brings us to the next point. Even when tasks are small enough to survive, most ambitious people sabotage themselves by trying to push through everything at once. Career, fitness, learning, side projects all at 100% intensity. That constant pressure creates chronic mental load and drains energy faster than you realize. realize. What you don't realize is that life doesn't let you peak at everything all at once. There are always constraints, work demands, energy fluctuations, social obligations, and trying to ignore them just builds friction. So instead, I treat different areas of life like seasons. Some things grow, others maintain. You might have a period where your job or exam prep gets all your focus, while your gym routine is minimal but enough to stay consistent. Later, the focus shifts. For example, there are weeks where I spend most of my energy on deep work while training is lighter. Other times, the gym is my priority and work projects get maintenance attention. This approach keeps momentum without burning out. The key is recognizing that progress doesn't need to happen everywhere simultaneously. By rotating focus, you free up energy to do well in one area without losing touch with the others. And when you plan your life like this, with cycles of focus, cycles of maintenance, balance stops being a vague concept and becomes a practical way to make time for everything without burning out. And that brings us to the final point of the system: rest and recovery. You can plan, protect your energy, shrink tasks and rotate focus, but none of it lasts if you never recharge properly. Most people rest reactively. They wait until they're exhausted and hope a nap, scrolling or random breaks will fix them. And we all know that rarely works. Real recovery happens when it's intentional, structured and matched to the intensity of your work. It's not just downtime, it's a system that actively restores your energy. For me, there are a few key parts. First is having daily shutdown rituals, something that clearly signals to my brain that work is done. That could be logging what I accomplished, writing tomorrow's first task, or simply closing the laptop and stepping away. Second is having proper breaks between deep work blocks, 10, 15 or 20 minutes where I'm not checking messages, emails or social media. I might go for a walk, read, stretch or play piano, essentially doing activities that refresh the mind without adding mental load. And third is protecting your identity. You can't measure your value by output 24/7. Some recovery is just about being, not doing. So spend time with friends, read without tracking progress, or walk outside without thinking about tasks or your step count. When these practices become habitual, they make all the other parts of the system sustainable. Your peak energy is protected, small tasks get done, focus cycles remain productive, and you can maintain everything long term. And the biggest benefit is that when structured recovery is built into your week, burnout becomes nearly impossible. You actually get more done, and your time stretches further because your brain and body are genuinely restored. Designing your week, protecting peak energy, scaling tasks, rotating focus, and structured recovery will help you make time for everything. But even with the right system, one thing can still stop you, and that's your mental health. I've had days where I had the plan and time, but mentally I just couldn't move. So I made it a goal to figure out how to make progress even on low days, because avoiding them completely isn't realistic. Learning and understanding this is what helped me get through med school, full-time work as a doctor, and running this channel. And in this video here, I break down exactly how to work with your mental health, not against it. So click the video to learn how to keep moving forwards even on your hardest days.